Just upload a bunch of videos to YouTube and make thousands of dollars a month. Does that really happen? Okay, thanks everybody for joining me. This is Joe Leach with Throw the Boss Out. Jim is not with us today. He's in sunny Minneapolis, and I'm in partly cloudy Los Angeles, out doing some work for one of my businesses. And today, we're going to answer the question about this YouTube mystery and how likely is it that someone can actually make money and start a business with a YouTube channel. Now, there's no question that it's possible, and you can look no further than a website that is called Social Blade. If you go to socialblade.com, you can actually see real people with very ordinary lives putting YouTube videos up and making literally thousands of dollars a month in revenue. Now, the real question is, how viable is this? I mean, did each of these people just get lucky? Is there a formula? Can somebody actually start today, begin a YouTube channel, and have any hope that they could turn it into a business enterprise, or even just an enterprise where you could make some money each month? And I have a YouTube expert with me today who has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and he can answer a lot of these questions. This Social Blade website is very, very interesting. If you go there, you can even sort by top lists, and you can just see all the different things. A great one to look at is to check out a video channel called Good Mythical Morning. Happens to be one of my favorites. Rhett and Link, two guys who are just incredibly with infectious personalities, fun to watch. And they have millions and millions and millions of subscribers. And they actually have separate channels. And I'm going to ask our guests today, too, what the strategy is behind doing things like that. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my good friend, Rob Chapman, who has like I said, a very successful guitar music YouTube channel. And I am going to promise to pull as much valuable information out of this man as I possibly can in the few minutes that we have. Rob, say hello to all these good people.
Hello, good people. I watch Rhett and Link. Did you watch the recent video with the water purifying jug?
No, I just saw the one with the pink shoes and the panties.
Oh, and man, it's so amazing.
What is the one that you're talking about?
They got a water purifying jug, and they purified Mountain Dew. And they purified all sorts of different stupid things, including like mouthwash, and then took a sip of the purified version, even Budweiser.
Right,
it's absolutely hilarious.
And were some of the things unpurifiable, or
so everything lost the original color? So the Mountain Dew that was purified was no longer green, but it had like a breathy hint of Mountain Dew left in it.
Which would make some sense.
Yeah, it was such a classic idea. It's one of those things where you think, I wish I'd thought of that. That happens a lot in my industry.
Well, and when you say your industry, I'm glad you brought that up. You consider YouTube your industry? Do you consider music your industry? How do you look at that?
I consider creative marketing my industry, and music industry, my industry. Mm-hmm. And I consider I'm a very slightly unorthodox YouTuber. I don't consider myself a YouTuber. YouTube is my medium. So, for example, something that I would never do, or I have never done, although I probably should do, is go to the YouTube conventions or meet up with other people in my situation. For example, would go to specific areas to be a YouTuber and meet other YouTubers. Whereas in the music industry, and in particular guitarists, we tend just to hang out with guitar YouTubers. We don't mix. I don't really know why. I think it's something to do with the want to focus on the industry we're in, and not necessarily put too much of a focus on the fact that YouTube is the medium that we use.
So I was going to actually ask you that specific question about whether you considered yourself a YouTuber. So essentially, are you saying going to these conventions and working with other YouTubers, this is the difference between someone who's just thinking about it from I'm a creative versus I'm an actual YouTuber?
Yeah, so the difference with my personal business and other YouTubers would be that I am a musician, foremost, guitarist, singer. I have a guitar brand, and then I market both of these things via my YouTube channel. So my YouTube content is to do with the music I write, the bands I'm in, the guitars I'm selling and marketing, and fun around that area. I have made lifestyle kind of fun blogs and things.
You have aren't you adding like a cooking
yeah, I'm going to be
playlist?
doing a cookery playlist because I'm absolutely obsessed with cooking. Channels like Hot Ones, like First We Feast, that kind of stuff. I love food. But what I don't do is just, you call them skits in America?
Yes.
So skits and kind of, I don't know. I stick within my area. So, for example, there are people that would focus on what they call in the industry female. So, my summer haul, 10 top lipsticks, and they're focused on that area. And there are people that would be in gaming and do reviews and playthroughs and play with me. And my area is music industry, which is really small. It's one of the smallest areas of YouTube you could ever muster.
Now, a little departure from the conversation here is I should say that as I'm asking Rob a lot of these questions, I already know the answer because Rob and I have been friends for quite some time, and we do business together, and that's how we got to know each other as business partners first, so to speak, and now very, very, very good friends. So I would like you to tell the story that we were just talking about last night, in terms of, or the night before. You didn't set out to create a YouTube channel. No. You were trying to go ahead and explain that you're.
So I was a guitar teacher. I played guitar since I was 16. Really life story, really short. Went to a guitar college in England, the first one that was set up, called the Guitar Institute, and I qualified, as a guitarist, so I could become a session guitarist back in the day. I did a couple of little jobs, and then I had to get a real job, and I ended up in optics and job after job after job doing things for other people that I didn't really want to do, making no money, got made redundant twice. It was just a disaster.
Say that again.
I must have worked in every industry you could imagine: local government, optics, food manufacturing. I was a martial arts instructor for about 2 years. I've literally everything you can imagine I've probably done, but none of them worked because none of them were fulfilling. I didn't like being told what to do. I didn't like being paid just above minimum wage. I didn't like having to work night shifts or picking in a warehouse or all these different things. It was just, not that I'm any more educated than the average person, but I had this creativity inside of me that I needed to get out and express. And so I ended up teaching guitar, and I was lucky. I had a few hands up. I'd done some session work for some labels, and I was a pretty good player, and I'd been in some bands and had done some things. So the posters I put up were really well marketed and branded. And I'd cut my teeth in marketing working for Virgin Mobile, and in particular Richard Branson. That had been kind of life-changing in the way I had perceived marketing myself as a guitar teacher. And I started making little videos on a place called MySpace, and they would go along the lines of, "Hey, I'm Rob Chapman, and thank you for watching this video, and welcome to Chapman Guitar Tuition. Today, we're going to take a look at the major scale. If you'd like personal guitar lessons with me, here's my telephone number, 0122576, blah, blah, blah." And before you knew it, I had, 50 guitar students paying me, I think it was initially £15 an hour. And I got to the point where I made enough money from guitar tuition that I would start from 6:30 until 10 p.m. that I could quit my day job and just be a full-time guitar teacher. And one of the MySpace videos did pretty well. I think it had like 200 views. and 3 comments. And one of the comments said, "Wow, man, I've never seen anyone play like this. This is amazing. Wish I could get lessons from you, but I live in, I think it was like Sweden or something. You should definitely make videos for YouTube. It's this new place where you can upload videos." And I kind of thought, well, you know what? I'm open-minded. I'll go take a look. And there really were no other guitarists doing regular content. There was one video by a channel called Fun2, I think it was, I think it was a Korean guitar player playing something really pretty amazing. And I just opened a channel, called it my name, and I just made adverts for my guitar tuition. So, hey guys, Rob Chapman from Chapman Guitar Tuition. Let's take a look at some finger exercises. By the way, I teach guitar, la 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 la. And then eventually I got bored of just the teaching, and I wanted to play riffs and just have fun and just do my thing. And I was demonstrating some gear that I had just purchased at discount due to my fantastic friend Graham May. If Graham's listening, I'll be amazed. But hi, Graham. Graham actually was the tech for a whole bunch of huge bands, including he was a bass tech working for guys at Megadeth and Zakk Wylde and all these different things. And he was off tour working in a guitar store in Southampton, and he got me a discount when they were getting rid of loads of stock and shutting down on all this Orange gear. So I suddenly acquired like 3 amps and a bunch of like 4 guitars because I was going into Abbey Road to record an EP with Eddie Kramer. Actually, with a different guy called Nick Tauber who produced Thin Lizzy and Def Leppard. And I wanted to show off all this awesome Orange gear that I just acquired really cheaply. And I had the good fortune to make a video with an amplifier called the Tiny Terror, which was a very small, one of the very first lunchbox size,
tiny little things.
Yeah. And I just couldn't get it right. I was sat down trying to play it, doing a serious review. Hi, here are the clean tones, here are the crunch tones. And for whatever reason, the stars were not aligned to make a great video. And I was just losing it, and I wasn't enjoying it. I hadn't had enough coffee. I was tired. And I put on some music, got myself psyched up, and I started jamming, and then I started fooling around. Like I was doing kind of Metallica style galloping, dun, 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 and then I was imagining I was riding a horse. And then I just came up with all these stupid things. And then in editing, I chopped it into a montage and just thought, to hell with it, I'm just going to upload it.
And just to be clear, prior to that, most of your videos would be a little bit more
serious,
polished, or yeah.
Yes. All serious, Chapman Guitar Tuition, guitar lessons. Nothing had any personality. Nothing was really me. I'm not a serious guy. And this was the first video where I had just messed around, chopped it up, had a bit of fun, put it up and thought, to hell with it. Let's just do it, And overnight, I think it was like 1,500 views or something like that, which for them was huge.
Right.
And then...
what year is this, Rob? Sorry.
Oh, God.
About?
This is like 10 or 11 years ago, I think.
Okay. So
tell the truth, I can't remember.
But not that long ago. I mean,
No.
10 years is, but in technology.
Oh, yeah.
It's forever ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember it was November. It was cold outside. Anyway, a month later, I had 10,000 views.
On that one video.
Yeah. Which was unprecedented. It was the most viewed video on YouTube in music for that month. And then I got a phone call from Orange.
No kidding.
Yeah. And they said, hi, my name's Damon. I'm the managing director of Orange. And man, I've been watching your videos, and we saw one with the Tiny Terror. We thought it was just amazing, and we just loved you to come in and have a meeting with us. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. I wonder what they want to do. And they wouldn't tell me on the phone what they wanted to do. So I packed up a bag, drove to Orange, which was like 5 hours away in a car, got there, and they said, we would like to offer you a kind of a job, like an ambassadorial role, where you would be coming with us to Frankfurt Music Messe or the NAMM show in Anaheim, California, or Ibbenburen Music Produktiv, and you would play guitar for us all day long, and
we'll pay you.
Sorry?
And we'll pay you.
Oh, no, they didn't say that.
Huh?
They didn't say that. They said we would bring you and you could play guitar and maybe you could shoot some YouTube videos while you're doing it. So I had enough nous to sort of say, well, this sounds really amazing, but what is the role called? And they said, we don't know. We've never had anyone do this before. So I did something that at the time it was a master blow. I branded the role. And I said, I think it's a clinician role. I think I'll be the Orange Amplifiers clinician, which makes it official. It lends a weight of authority to the position. And I joined the Orange Amps forum, and I started chatting to and making friends, genuine friends, with the people on the forum and said, hey, I'm really excited. I've just become the Orange Amplifiers clinician. I'm going to be demonstrating the amps at these different various trade shows. It's going to be really cool. And they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you're on the forum talking to us. This is really exciting. Thank you so much. What do you know about this amp and that amp and this amp? And I had to go learn a whole bunch of stuff. And then I said to Damon, how much am I going to get paid? And they said, well, we're going to pay your flights and your food and put you in a hotel. So that's, several £1,000s or whatever. And I said, but what am I going to get paid to do the work? And they said, well, we hadn't thought about that. Maybe £500. And I was like, absolutely, that sounds brilliant. Thank you so much.
Was great.
I'll take £500. That's incredible. So I snapped up the £500, and it was my first official role for a brand. And what I had done is made a piece of marketing content. It had attracted a brand, and then they had given me some money. So in a way, I'd made £500 profit from making one video that took me, an hour or two.
Back then, was YouTube what we refer to now as monetized?
No.
So there was no advertising. There was no advertising,
Nothing.
sharing, nothing.
No.
So you were really doing it as it was pure advertising. It
100%.
was just marketing.
Yeah. Well, I was doing it in truth to hide from a gradually failing relationship. I was locking myself away upstairs in a room and just kind of having an outlet for my frustrations.
The truth comes out.
Well, it's all the truth, But I really enjoyed it. I got bitten by the bug. Back in the day, you'd see these little medallions that told you your ranking in YouTube. And there weren't that many YouTubers. I mean, there were still thousands. But to see, number 2 or number 1, it was such a rush.
Right.
And I was hooked on the whole thing. And I would make a video every single day, sometimes 2 a day. And the subscribers were pouring in. I didn't really keep an eye on the subscribers. I was really focused on views.
Things have really changed in that way, it seems.
Yes. I think people have got their sights in the wrong areas.
We're going to talk about that too.
That's a good idea.
So at what point did the advertising, the monetization, I think is a phrase that we use, when did that come in?
I don't know, because
you don't remember the first day that you're like, wow, I just clicked this button and then they're going to start sending me a...
I remember getting an email from them saying we're going to start putting ads on the videos, but I pretty much like everyone else at the same time kind of thought, well, we're going to get less views. We might get 50p a day or something. It's not going to be anything useful. This is probably more of a hindrance, because I was doing this to market the guitar tuition.
Right. So the ads were almost getting in the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it became also a mechanism for me to promote my band. I was in a band called The Black Hand, and we were doing gigs and tours, and it was really cool, and I loved that band. We recorded 3 times at Abbey Road and put out some good music and had some really amazing times with Gavin, Ian, and Graham and Oliver. It was great. And but I do remember signing up the details for the advertising, putting in my bank details and thinking, well, I'll never make any money from that.
And then, do you remember the first time that it was at that point, it was a direct deposit into your account?
Yes. No, it was a check. They posted you a check from Google. I didn't even know.
So Google had... so this happened after Google purchased YouTube, because YouTube was a separate entity.
To the best of my knowledge, it would have been, because I remember going, I didn't know that Google owned YouTube. I had no idea. And it was this little white envelope, from Google, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then inside was a check. I think it was like $150 or something. Something like that. Yeah.
And did it show you a report of how long that it took, or you just got a check?
It was for a month, and it was. Oh no, it wasn't for a month. They gave you an amount of money you needed to earn before they paid out, and it must have taken some time before it came to that much money, and it was $150. And
but then you were essentially though getting paid for back time.
Yes.
Well, so
yeah. So the great thing about YouTube is that everything you do stays there forever, and it continually works for you and brings you revenue. So I imagine it to be like a fleet of salesmen, and every guy brings you in, £1 a month, or if you're lucky, £150 a month. And sure enough, when you've got 12...
He's out there shaking down viewers everywhere.
That's right, yeah. But when you got 1,200 videos and you start getting, £10 a month per video or, £150, it really adds up. So that One Orange amplifier video, the whole process of going through it and then making... Basically, when I started going to the shows and I was videoing the shows, people loved the content because for the first time I was showing the inside of the guitar playing industry to YouTube. I was filming the NAMM show, filming music.
Right, things they had never had the opportunity to see before.
Yeah, they'd never seen it before. And they were following me, and I was just keeping it real and being, hey, how you doing? I'm currently in America, going to play some stuff for Orange. Here's a little clip of me shredding the same lick.
And they would go crazy over it.
Yeah.
And then the comments, too. That's the other thing, is that the more comments you get, the more it attracts other viewers, right? Isn't that how it...
And back then, because there were so few people, I would recognize the people that commented and go, hey, man, how you doing? Nice to see you. And then they would come and see me at some of the shows.
Oh, neat.
And I would meet them, and they'd go, yeah, I'm this guy on YouTube, and I commented. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that comment. So it was much easier to have a relationship with the viewers. But that process taught me a lesson, which is that it's not just... it was the association and the marketing that got me a relationship with the company that paid me revenue. And at the time, I thought that was the only way of doing it.
This is important stuff, people. Keep going, Rob. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want them to really pay attention to this because this is key to everything we're talking about on this podcast.
So the guitar lessons were pouring in. That was really doing good. In fact, it got to the point where I couldn't really cope with teaching all the lessons because I was busy doing clinics and demonstrations. Another company called Barnes and Mullins, which was a distribution company that sold a really cool acoustic line called Faith Acoustic Guitars. They contacted me and said, hey, would you want to do some videos for us? We'll send you the guitars. You can film them at home. And I thought, well, that's just the easiest job on earth. I mean, I'm definitely going to receive free guitars, make videos. And I ended up with like 3 or 4 acoustic guitars at home, and I just couldn't believe it. It was just amazing to me. And they were paying me, £500 a video, and they were really happy with the views. And I was doing a lot of sort of CTAs, getting people to log onto their Facebook or their MySpace page, and because it was still a thing. And Twitter was a thing then, And I got a great relationship with them, and then Marshall Amplification when I eventually left Orange. And it was all going really good. It's still, everything went great. But the money from the videos grew.
The advertising money from the videos.
So every video, in case you don't know about this, every single video that you put up, when you become authorized to collect revenue, they can put pre-roll advertising at the front of the video. They can put an advertising banner at the side. They can have intermittent advertising.
The ones that stop in between.
Yes, the irritating ones. And you get paid whenever somebody sees an advertisement, or if someone clicks on an advert. And if varying advertisers would really like to target your channel and there's a bidding war, you get a cut in the bidding war, which is great if you're in a small pond.
I suppose.
Yes.
But you don't know this until it's all happened.
I don't know.
So you just put content out and hope that these things manifest.
All you could do is put content out and do it in a way that was sustainable. So you had to enjoy making the content. If it was stuff that you just like, oh God, it's really hard. I really can't bring myself to shoot another video. It's going to be awful. Then it would never have worked. But what I did was I just did things I enjoyed and didn't do things I didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
And it was really hard work. Like there were days when I went to bed at 3 a.m. I was waking up at 7 a.m. and I was working all the way through. But it was stuff that I was fanatical about it. And the money grew, and it became £800. I remember hitting £1,000 and thinking, well, that's it. I've made it. You know, I'm never.
And this is £1,000 a month, essentially.
Yes. Yeah. And I was thinking, this is it. I'm never going to make any more than this. This is the ceiling. You know, this is like being signed to a record label, because very few artists would get signed and get £1,000 a month.
Right.
That wasn't a loan. And I ended up changing the guitar tuition to be more of an experience. So I called it, my fans call me, for whatever reason, the Monkey Lord. And so I came up with this idea of the Monkey Lord experience, where a fan would come to me, I'd take them for breakfast, we'd have a really long 2-hour sort of developmental chat over breakfast, then they'd come back to the house and I'd teach them guitar for 2 hours, and then they would go back. So they had 4 hours with me, and I would charge them, I think it was £50, and then that grew to £100,
Wow.
and then it grew to £150, and I couldn't teach enough of them. They just wanted to come, and they really wanted more of the experience with me. That was really what they wanted.
And this all just blossomed from putting a few advertisements, out on
YouTube videos.
Well, it was actually MySpace, right? To
begin with, it was MySpace. Yeah,
exactly, and then moved over to YouTube.
So a few things changed. I ended up getting lots of relationships with brands. They all wanted to work with me. There were many times when I had to make a difficult decision about sort of really,
choosing something.
Well, yeah, choosing a brand to be loyal to. Or being free to work for many brands. And that was a difficult decision for me. And I definitely had to grow up a lot and learn to focus on being a businessman rather than just a guy that, loves stuff.
Yeah.
But I always made the decision based upon my gut feeling for gear that I liked. So, for example, there was an incident. I won't tell the brand, but there was a brand that offered me, at the time, great money to do review work and be exclusive. I turned them down because I just didn't like the product, or I didn't get excited about the product.
Yeah.
And that was difficult, But I would live for January, for the NAMM show, because January, when I went there with my little tiny handycam, I was the only guy, and I mean the only guy at the time, running around filming the guitar stuff. And then literally running back to the hotel, the Roadway Inn and Suites, South Harbor Boulevard.
The same hotel every time.
Yeah. And edit the videos like a madman, and then run to a Starbucks and desperately try to upload on the shitty Wi-Fi. And I would get videos that would be the most viewed for the month, for 2 months. I never forget filming Metallica's Iron Cross guitar, getting like 100,000 views in a week.
Because these were things that people just out in the general public, the musicians,
never got to see.
Right.
Yeah.
And this was like pure video of it happening in real time. And
yes. And back then, the NAMM show was a place where retailers did deals with brands to buy gear. And I genuinely feel that I changed that relationship to be more of a social media promotional vibe through the work that I did, because the retailers couldn't film the stuff and put it on YouTube. They're too busy. The brands couldn't film stuff and put it on YouTube. They were too busy. The people viewing, walking around and doing their thing, didn't have the platform that I had. So I was in a really strong and unique position.
That is awesome. I'm going to do something really mean to everybody who's listening right now. We're going to wrap up this particular podcast, because I always like to be respectful of everybody and make sure that we keep these to 30 minutes so they can listen to them on their drive or whatever. But we're going to tease them a little bit with Rob's going to stick around. And if you listen to the next podcast, we're going to talk a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of how all this happens. I appreciate it. You're listening on Talk North Network. I want to say thanks to all of my Talk North compadres and everybody who's helping at that network who's hosting the show. And I thank you for listening. Go to the next show and listen up to more information about how you could possibly make some money on YouTube.